Alrighty, hey guys, what's up? This is your boy Asiago back at you again on that 3 a.m. thoughts. Alright, so here we go. So before we go on to today's facts, let's see. I want to share an actual, 3 a.m. thought. Because, like, literally, I was just chilling here, in my room, and I thought, damn. Okay, so let me just get into it here. Okay, so this random thought that I had was, okay, so you know how, like, according to the theory of evolution, like, the reason why, primates have evolved to become, so intelligent, to become the people that we are now, is simply because, again, it's not so much survival of the fittest, it's survival of the smartest. Of how, like, primates back in the day, they had to like literally use their brain to kind of figure things out and survive, out in the wild. One thing led to another, here we are today. And I'm just thinking, okay, so just speaking, and I think it might be safe to say, whether you believe in the Bible, whether you believe in evolution, or whether you believe in both, I think it's safe to say that humans are probably amongst, if not the last, like, mammals to actually, like, come out, in the time of animals coming to existence, or just appearing in general, whatever. I think it's pretty safe to say that we humans are probably amongst the latest addition, into the whole species thing here on the planet. But then you would think, shoot, well, thinking how us, the latest mammals, the latest species here in the world of species, have gone to this level of intelligence, have gone to this level of, like, just building civilizations and societies and stuff like that. Like, you would think, why wouldn't, like, the very first animals, introduced on this planet, like, fish, how come they, wouldn't have evolved in the same way? Before you say anything, let me just get my thoughts out here. So the whole reason why I'm thinking, okay, so, like, logically, again, one of the reasons why you would think, this whole intelligence thing, that that was a big deal on primates, that kind of helped evolve, like your typical idiotic primate into a human. You would think that kind of gene would be, like, the most superb gene in, like, on all the animal kingdom, and therefore, why wouldn't that very, like, intelligent gene be, like, present in other, like, species, other animals, other, like, types of animals and stuff like that? I mean, it only makes sense, right? Because, again, if it's all about survival of the fittest, survival of the smartest, like, typically, you just look at how everything works on Earth. The whole point of everything living on Earth is just to basically survive. I mean, at least that's the most natural instinct of things. And I'm over here thinking, yeah, like, I mean, just having that kind of intelligence to kind of, like, just live, just kind of adapt to your surroundings and kind of, like, just kind of live your life, like, in the most literal sense possible. Yeah, like, I can see why that would be, like, the most dominant trait. Now, and then I come over here thinking, okay, what? Again, why hasn't this, like, why wasn't this a thing with, like, fish? Why wasn't this thing a thing with, like, lizards, amphibians, and other mammals, like, I don't know, oxen, I don't know, pigs or whatever. Like, cause I'm over here thinking, bruh. Like, seriously, like, if the latest mammal introduced into this planet of species was to be able to develop this kind of intelligence, that's more than enough time for other for other animals to have eventually got to that point too. Like, how come we don't have fish people? Fish people living in the seas, having their own societies, completely adapted inside the water. How come we don't have bird they probably be more so tree dwellers, but still, yeah, like, they would be soaring through the skies. Or lizard people, like literal lizard people. We're not talking about the ones in DC. No, we're talking about the ones like, literally, like they're literal lizards. Okay, yeah, they'll be living in more moist environments. More kind of ideal temperature environments. And then amphibian people. And much more. Like, how come this isn't, like, a thing? I mean, I'm over here thinking, yeah, like, if primates were able to develop this, how come we don't have other kinds of like different people? Like, again, I'm not talking about different kinds of people in terms of cultures or race. I'm talking about other people in terms of species. Again, fish people, Atlanteans, sky people, you know, freaking people that have evolved like eagles and birds that have evolved smart enough to where they establish their own societies and all that. And even if they're like, even if we're not exactly the same size or whatnot, we're still all intelligent enough to like, you know, like communicate with each other, you know, and have like true, legit, like what you call it, like political, discussions and stuff like that. I mean, cause kind of crazy. It would kind of look like literally like if this were to happen, like if this intelligence gene that was present in primates was more, was also like introduced, you know, in other species. Then like just imagine. It would look like freaking like an alien planet up in here. It would look, especially if freaking insects and bugs, you know, got bigger and they also got that intelligence thing. You know, we were able to communicate with a cockroach in the same way we'd be able to communicate with any other person. Like, again, like, I don't know, like I just really thought about it. And I'm like, damn, yeah, it would either look like a very like alien kind of planet, or it might even look like one of those fantasy worlds, or like, again, you know, freaking, or yeah, again, like in those fantasy animes, isekais and all that kind of stuff. You know, you're over here, you know, living amongst people, but then once you leave the village, you know, you see other villages established by like frog people and stuff like that. Like, I'm just thinking, how come, like, yeah, like why aren't we at that point? Freaking like everybody else had a head start, but we humans were like the first to get here, and we're possibly going to be the only people to get here. I don't know. But then again, you know, I believe in the Bible, you know, and not to say I don't believe in evolution. I mean, come on now. I mean, there's a lot of things you can't deny. I mean, although it's still just a theory, a lot of it makes sense. I mean, well, for me, the way I view it is more of an adaptive sense, and not so much one animal completely turning into another, because just thinking about it doesn't make too much sense to me. But we're not getting into that because we're getting into facts, man. I'm telling you. Okay. Yeah, so that's just a little thought that I had, and I thought, well, it doesn't really connect to anything else I want to talk about in this podcast, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of start off with that. Alrighty, so let's get on with the facts. Okay, so speaking of facts, you know what else is associated with a fax machine? The workplace. Now, let me tell you, I don't work in no office. I work in the Wonderful World of Wally world. Shoot, so, and let me tell you, lots of strange things go on down, you know, in that place. Lots of strange things, like things I can't even like make sense of, you know. Like, for starters, okay, so I remember, you know, when I first started working there, it seemed pretty normal, you know, because I'm over here, you know, I'm just operating forklift all day, you know, making the pallets that they want me to make, you know, and then, you know, lifting them up, bring them to wherever they want me to bring them. It was pretty damn simple, you know. I mean, a couple of times, yeah, like for bigger orders, I would have to write them down and stuff like that. But again, you know, it was pretty straightforward. Yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward indeed. But let me tell you what. We also done some strange things. Now, like, not too strange, you know. These are kind of moderate, but they made the workplace interesting. Now, let me tell you. So there's this one time, man, where like literally, so they called us like this dumpster guy, who was supposed to take all like well, actually, let me give you some background context. So what was going on at the store was they were doing a whole remodel. So like all the old counters, all the old shelves and stuff, you know, were throwing them all away, and we needed to get rid of them, replace them, you know, and that's why I was on the forklift. You know, I was putting in the new shelves and new counters and all that. I was putting them on pallets, bringing them with the forklift. You know, it's pretty straightforward. Hell, I even went to the warehouse for a little bit, but more on the warehouse later. Anyways, so over there at the store, yeah, like, you know, we're going out with the old and with the new. And so the first kind of odd thing that happened was, so they called this big dumpster guy, you know, to come and take all the old stuff, you know, like because we had like these ginormous dumpster bins, you know, literally like the ideal size for a truck to come by and take them, you know, and just take them to the freaking dump or whatever they took them to. And but for some reason, the guy that was supposed to take them never came, and so we had to wait a whole nother freaking month for we had to wait a whole nother freaking month for the guy to come by and take the damn trash cans. So what they told me was, okay, we could do things a little differently, you know. Like, I know this is a bit unconventional, but you better not tell anybody that we told you this, alright? So you see that forklift right there? You're gonna use it as a destroyer. And I'm like, a destroyer? Yeah, you know. Okay, so what they did was they brought out a freaking they brought me out the old gun counter, like freaking. So if you don't know what the gun counter looked like, freaking so it was kind of like this this round thing, you know. It was like a round display thing, you know. And I had all like the little hooks and stuff that you would put the guns in, you know. You could spin around and take a look at each and every one of them, and it was and the display was surrounded by glass, you know. And it looked kind of cool. I'm kind of sad that they replaced it, but anyways, so what they told me was, they were like, okay, see this, and they showed me a bunch of other stuff too, but that was like the biggest thing we had. And they were like, I need you to destroy this, you know, just pick it up with a forklift, we're gonna dump it in there, and I know there ain't gonna be no room, but I need you to destroy it. Like, do whatever you see fit. And so freaking I was like, hell yeah, okay. So what I did was, like, literally I grabbed it and I just drove super fast. I was like, well, I mean, the damn thing only went like 13 miles an hour at fastest, you know. But freaking what I did was I just rammed that sucker into the freaking building, and they were like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, you said for me to do whatever I see fit. And they're like, no, go take it to the dumpster, you know. So I go ahead and I do that. And I have a couple of other coworkers with me too, you know. And we're like, man, just one of my friends, man, he puts on some like heavy metal music, and he's like, all right, let's F this thing up, you know. Freaking like, and when I'm over here freaking like lifting it as high as possible, throwing it everywhere, freaking trying like to really break this thing down. Surprisingly, that glass was like harder to, you know, to destroy. So what we ended up doing was freaking like we had a whole bunch of other pallets and stuff we needed to throw away. One of them was this ginormous pallet full of nothing but like old shelves and stuff like that. Now let me tell you, you get enough of these shelves in place, they get pretty freaking heavy, you know. And then they're sandwiched in between two of these pallets, and I'm like, well, like there's no way I can actually like throw these away unless I take the pallets off. Or like, there's no way I can salvage these pallets, you know. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use them to destroy this thing. So I left the old gun counter inside the, you know. So yeah, so I left it inside the dumpster thing. And what I did was I picked up this ginormous freaking double pallet of freaking like metal shelves, and what I did was I kind of yeeted it, you know, like over the fence where we had the dumpsters, and it perfectly, and I do mean say it perfectly, like hit the damn like gun counter. All you hear was just a bunch of shattering. Like, let me tell you, it was a bunch of metal, a bunch of glass, and we were like, oh, and one of the guys was still on the other side recording it all. He was like, oh boy, look at this, yo, you got it. And man, it was pretty freaking cool. And you know, and on the top of that, freaking, you know, I just went over there with like I went over there with another pallet of heavy stuff, you know, and I just started bashing it down, freaking just creating more destruction. It was freaking fun as hell, man. Like, I mean, I was just having a heyday. And freaking then my boss comes by and he's like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you laughing so much? And I'm like, man, I'm over here, I'm just trying to freaking make this fit, you know. But it just so happens that this is kind of fun. And he was like, well, you can't be having fun, hurry up, and you need to go to the warehouse later. And I'm like, fine, you know, just let me destroy this thing first. And so then what my buddy does next, freaking as soon as the box walks away, freaking this dude, man, he pulls out he pulls out a lighter, man. This dude had a Molotov on him, or like he crafted one right then and there. And I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And he threw it into the damn dumpster, thinking that it would destroy everything faster. And I'm like, no, you know. And so I started throwing a bunch of other crap in there, like freaking realizing that there was some wooden pallets in there. I'm like, oh hell no, freaking, it was already bad enough that we had 2 wooden pallets in a freaking dumpster bin full of, you know, that was only supposed to have metal in it. And I was like, oh god, you know. So I started throwing more metal stuff in there, you know. I was throwing more stuff in vain that the freaking that the fire would go down. Oh boy, let me tell you, but I had to destroy a whole lot more stuff, freaking like, and there was a point where the fire wouldn't go down, and I literally legit thought, what if I just threw a car in there? What would happen? Now, that probably would have been a worse idea, but then again, I wanted an excuse to just pick up a car with a forklift. But anyways, so let's move forward with that. All right, so, you know, this is that's just a little bit of you know, the kind of the weird stuff that happened over there. Again, not so weird, you know, nothing. It's just kind of moderate. You know, nothing too nothing too fancy. But let's go to the warehouse though. Warehouse is where things start getting interesting. You know, so here we go. So I was working with these guys, right? You know, it was just me and like maybe three other dudes, and then there was this then we had our boss lady, you know. And so we did the typical stuff, you know. We put things on pallets, you know, we put them in a truck and we just sent them on our way. Man, let me tell you what. Okay, so there's this one time where like, and I swear, so there's this truck driver, man, you know, so you can tell he was pretty new. He was taking a long time to kind of back up the, he was taking a very long time to back up the damn, freaking like truck into the warehouse bay, and freaking like, like a couple of times, this dude came out of his truck, you know, just pissed as hell, you know, freaking like he's over here looking at us, going like, oh, why is this so narrow, you know, and he's, you know, we can tell he's kind of like, you know, not only is he new, he's a freaking like, you know, this dude was like a kid, you know, he was a freaking kid, no older than 18. So I mean, and this dude, you know, he was just throwing a fit, and then literally what this dude does is he just rams the damn truck into the warehouse door, and like we just hear this loud crash. And let me tell you, in this warehouse that we're in, we're sharing it with, you know, with a couple of other companies, you know, being separated by like one of those little orange, like bright orange little plastic fences, you know. So they were like, what the hell, you know, freaking, and this dude, and you would have thought that would have been the end of it, but no, this dude was just like declaring his dominance. So this guy kept on going forward and he just kept on ramming it into the freaking warehouse like multiple times. I'm like, dude, what you doing? And this guy, let me tell you, you know, whenever, because I went out there to see what was going on, you know, see what the hell this guy was thinking, you know, and this dude, he was foaming at the mouth, freaking, he had like green eyes, freaking, he was all shaking and all that, he looked like he was growing horns, you know, he was looking like a freaking ogre, you know. And so then, like when the timing was right, you know, I pulled him out of the damn, I pulled him out of the damn truck. And then, like, he was over here. He looked like he was in the middle of a transformation. He was like, this damn truck, oh, I hate it. You know, it was all weird. I'm like, you don't even look human no more. Here, have some Kool-Aid. So I literally just got like one of those Kool-Aid popsicles. Freaking, it was all melted by this point. And I opened it. I just splashed it on him. It was like, oh. You know, he just instantly calmed down. He instantly calmed down, but I didn't stop his transformation. You see, he started growing hair all over himself. You know, he looked like he was turning into a hairy ogre. You know, now I ain't making this stuff up. You know, and he was like, need food, me hungry. And he started developing a weird accent. I'm like, oh, okay, you know, come inside. And he's like, ugh. He starts walking all weird, like, you know, his legs are bent, his arms are like super long. You know, it's kind of like a monkey walk. You know, he's like, need food, I hate narrow things. You know, and I was like, okay. And so I'm over here. I'm trying to show him to the door, you know, but then, like, he refuses to follow me all the way, because he's like, oh, car, you know, and he starts lifting up my coworker's car, and I'm like, no, bad monster, you know. I slapped him on the head, and it was like, and this dude tries to bite me, so he's freaking over here chasing me, you know, because, again, he's wanting to eat me, you know. So I bring him inside, you know, I lead him inside the warehouse, and freaking, he also follows me into the break room, right? And then freaking, so one of my coworker buddies, you know, cause he was you know, he was on break at the time, and he was just vaping inside, freaking, and so in this particular vape, it smelled like strawberry shortcake. Oh man, I love taking break with that guy, because man, freaking. Like every time he would vape inside, and the whole place would smell like strawberry shortcake. But anyways, you know, this driver ogre guy, you know, he was chasing me, and then freaking as soon as he opened the door, just like nothing but just smoke, like just puffing smoke came out, and freaking, and then like it just hit us like a freaking like freight train, and damn, like man, I was like, oh man, it smells good. And bringing this, and the ogre guy, the ogre trucker guy, you know, freaking chasing me, he gets hit with it too, and he smells it. He's like, you know, he calms down like instantly, you know, and he just starts calmly following me into the break room, and I'm like, okay, you hungry? Here, let me get you some. And so I look in the pantry, and like literally there's nothing in the pantry except spider webs on one side, and on the entire other side, nothing but ravioli. Like seriously, just absolutely nothing but ravioli. You know, so I get one can, and I freaking, you know, and I show him to him, like, you want this? And he was like, oh, hungry. You know, so freaking he just rips up with the can, and he starts chugging it like a drink. And I'm like, oh, you like that? Alrighty, you know, so I start freaking just like passing him cans, and he does the same thing. He's like chugging them down like beers, you know, and he freaking, and at one point, freaking like we're at just halfway through our ravioli supply, and he's, you know, he's all like big and fat, he's all full. He's like, oh, must go back to truck. But then like he just passes out, you know, he passes out for a little bit. And then we're like, all right, well, we need to load the truck, you know, so like we'll just let him sleep here for a while, you know. So like, yeah, so we get back to work, freaking. Well, we attempt to freaking try to, yeah, we attempt to fill up the truck, but like it's just so bented, it's so bent and dented, you know, that like it was hard to freaking drive a forklift in there. It was hard to even put a pallet in there, you know. So we did as much as we could, and man, let me tell you, man. Things were not pretty whenever the freaking, things were not pretty whenever the store manager came around. He was like, what the hell is going on here? What happened here? Who is this fellow sleeping in the break room? And I was like, that's Troll. And he was like, Troll? And I was like, yeah, you know, you really should have seen it. He was hangry. You know, he was hangry this entire time. And, you know, I'm not even going to get into it. He came in here, he started ramming his damn truck in here, and one thing led to another, and now he's drunk off ravioli. And he was like, drunk? What? You know, again, like, you know, he was just like, and he was pissed, he was confused, he didn't want to get into it, so he's like, I'm going back. I'm going back. You know, so he literally leaves right there. He goes back to the store, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess whatever he came here for, it wasn't that important, you know. So freaking yeah, so we picked the dude off the floor. We picked Troll, and I mean that's what I called him. We picked Troll off the floor, and I'm like, okay, you know, the truck is full. And he's like, well, what truck? And I'm like, that truck you were just driving. And they're like, oh yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, so apparently what happened was that this dude had no idea he was even a truck driver. Like literally, like freaking, he had no recollection of freaking ramming the damn truck into the warehouse. He had no recollection of even he had no recollection of clocking in. You know, he literally, as far as he was concerned, today was his day off, and freaking like he was just like, that damn ogre. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Whenever the ogre hits, he just does whatever he wants. You know, so I'm like, nah, you good. But you're gonna be pooping a lot later today. And he was like, yeah, now that you mention it. So he freaking runs to the damn restroom, and he's just having a freaking fit in there. He's like, oh. And you just hear everything come out of him. Like it just went straight through, and it was like, oh Lord. You know, oh my god, like it didn't sound pretty in there. It did not sound pretty in there whatsoever. Man, this guy was just having a horrible time. You know, it just wasn't a pretty situation. Freaking like he had to flush like at least 8 times, and we had to go back, and at one point we had to go back to the store and come back to the warehouse because the dude needed a plunger. And he needed to plunge the toilet a couple times, and we also needed to give him a few rolls of toilet paper. Hell, at one point we just straight up bought him a towel because not even regular toilet paper was working. You know, he told him, you can keep the towel. So freaking god, like it was just bad, man. So like by the time he was finished, by the time he finally cleaned everything up and he went out, he was like, oh, and we can see like he's just, and as he's coming out, he's putting his clothes back on. He's like, oh sweet Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Oh, I hate my life. You know, it was it was just not a pretty sight. It was not at all. And freaking one of my buddy coworkers, you know, he goes in there, freaking, he's just horrified by the smell. So he gets like 2 bottles of freaking like a Hawaiian flavored freaking Febreze. You know, he's just freaking spraying the hell out of there. You know, just trying to get the smell out, man. It was so bad. Even with the door closed, you could just smell that crap all the way, like all over the warehouse. It was that bad. Freaking and the Febreze, it didn't do much either. Like it literally didn't do much to freaking try to match the smell. If anything, it smelled like someone took a dump in Hawaii. That's how bad it was. And the entire warehouse smelled like that. Freaking, and it was it wasn't the best time. I'll tell you that, it was not the best time. But anyways, But that's not all that happened at the warehouse. You see, I remember what else? Another thing that happened was fast forwarding. We realized we actually had a ghost in the warehouse. Now, I know it seems pretty odd, but let me tell you, man, I'm bringing you the straight up facts of this one. So, freaking, I'm telling you, straight up facts, man. We had a warehouse ghost. Like, as far like, I don't think he had a name. Not that we would ever know. But here's what happened. You know, it was just a normal work day. And so, you know, we're doing our normal warehouse things, and the lunchtime comes around, and you know, we're chilling in the break room, you know, just eating our lunch. In the break room that we had, there was a little window that kind of that showed like, yeah, like there was a window that, you know, that let us see outside of the break room into the rest of the warehouse. And then like all of a sudden, you know, we just see a pallet flying. And, you know, and it just hits the ground super loud. Now, and we're all like, "What the hell?" You know. So we go back out there, and we're just looking at it, and then we're like, "Huh? What is this?" You know, we're getting this like pallets were just flying around everywhere. It was almost like a tornado of pallets. We're just flying. We're like all the stuff that we're having to load and all that. Again, everything was just flying over the place. It looked like a freaking hurricane was going on. But like Hurricane Harvey already passed. So I was like, "What the hell? What's going on?" And then it turns out, and then like right after we started making a scene, freaking all the pallets, all like the junk that was flying in the air, it started hurling towards us. Now it would be one thing if it was a coincidence, but no, like everywhere we went, we zigzagged, we did all this, and we was still trying to freaking hit us. You know, we even went into the break room. One item like fell through, like it crashed through the window, and we're like, okay, yeah, this ain't normal. You know, so freaking we're over here, we're just trying to outrun everything. We're just running for our lives, and damn, and so freaking we hear a voice, and we're like, "Oh, who dares go into my warehouse?" And I'm like, "Huh? Your warehouse? What you mean?" And they're like, "This is my home. How dare you into my home? Bring in your stuff and bring out my stuff. How dare you do this in my home?" And I'm like, last time I checked, this ain't nobody's home. This is a warehouse. And he was like, "Silence, pissy fool!" And when, like we were just trying to talk. We were trying to freaking talk to this dude. Man, it's a warehouse ghost. He didn't want to let down. Like he didn't want to let down nothing. Absolutely none. So man, freaking this dude, he was just putting up a fight, freaking just throwing crap at us. And then at one point they were like, okay, ghosts, warehouse ghosts, please let me bid you something, please. Let's make a deal. And he was like, "I'm listening." Okay, here's the deal. Okay, so we're gonna be like, just let us use your home. Just let us use your home for the next 3 months, and we'll leave. You know, we'll leave. You know, and like no questions asked, no problems at all. We just need to use your home for just 3 more months. Again, just 3 more months. Like just 90 more days. After that, you know, this place is all yours again. You know, we'll never bother you again. And I also guarantee that these guys on the other side of the freaking orange fence, you know, they'll also be gone too. Please just give us 3 months and we'll be gone. I swear, 3 months and we'll be gone. And he was like,
This pleases the ghost. Alright, I shall speed up this process by helping you with your jobs.
And I was like, oh, hell yeah, okay, let's do it. So freaking, yeah, so freaking, you know, so we're over here, you know, so we're doing our usual freaking warehouse thing, and then now we have a ghost helping us. And I was like, hell yeah, you know, like shoot, if a workplace is gonna be haunted, you know, if a workplace is gonna be haunted, you best damn believe that, yeah, I'm gonna make sure that the ghost is gonna be helping us. I mean, thankfully this one actually volunteered, but at other times, you know, yeah, there'll be like we have ghosts in the store too, you know, and they'll be trying to haunt me at work, and I'll be like, hey, you, if you're gonna be here haunting the store, you at least better be helping us work. You see all this crap we got here? Come on, get to it. And freaking, they'll be like, oh, but I don't want to. I want to haunt. But I'm like, no haunting until freaking work hours are over. You're gonna freaking stock this sucker. And they'll be like, fine. So you see just a block. You just see a box floating. You know, and then they'll be opening the box, and you just see stuff floating out of it, and they'll be going onto the shelves, and they'll be like, good. No haunting if you're on the clock. You know, they'd be like, fine. And then, you know, but they all started here at the warehouse though. Freaking again, this unnamed warehouse ghost. Freaking like again, he was just trying to kill us all for just supposedly invading his home and interrupting his slumber. Freaking this dude, yeah, he just started helping us. The most helpful, friendly ghost I've ever known. I'm gonna name him Casper. But anyways, yeah, freaking this dude, yeah, like he was pretty damn cool. He was pretty damn cool. Yeah, but then the only bad time is that anytime like a higher up or the store manager would come in, freaking yeah, like this dude, like it doesn't matter if he was like flying a pallet towards the truck, freaking as soon as the guy came in, you know, freaking like the pallet would just slap on the floor with everything on it, and he'd pretend he wasn't there, you know, because like he was like freaking once the higher ups and the boss went away, I'm like, dude, why? Like, why would you do that? Come on, you could have been helping us that time, you know. And he was like, I don't want to be discovered. I'm scared. I'm scared of humans. And I'm like, what? You were just trying to kill us earlier. What? Freaking man, you know. But anyways, it was just kind of a weird relationship we had, you know. And then yeah, and actually because of the ghost help, freaking yeah, like you know, we got that work done so much quickly, yeah, so much more quicker, you know, that in less than 3 months, you know, we got our jobs done, and we were out there in 2.5 months. You know, and I said goodbye, you know, to old Casper, and I'm like, alrighty, buddy, well, see you never. And he was like,
this pleases the ghost,
you know. So you know, that's pretty much all. That's pretty much all I have from my you know, from my earlier days of working. So let's fast forward a bit. You know, when I finally became an unloader. Okay. Actually, no. Before I became an unloader, you know, let's go just a tad bit back. You know, after the whole warehouse thing, but just before I became an unloader. Okay, so I was working the early morning shift. You know, I come in at 4 a.m. and I leave at 1 p.m. You know, it seems kind of like a sweet deal if you ask me. You know, so you know, so the thing is, I had to get used to waking up at like freaking yeah, I had to get used to waking up around like 3, no later than 3:30, and I had to leave the house by 3:45 so I can clock in by 4. And damn, so freaking driving at night, it's the most annoying thing. So like that, and that late night, early morning hour, like the late 3 o'clock and the early 4 o'clocks, man, let me tell you, it's so freaking annoying how the traffic system works, like the traffic light system works, because like literally I'll be sitting at the traffic light for just like literal hour, like, well, it feels like literal hours, but it's like literally minutes at a time, and like literally nobody would be around me. No other traffic, no motorcycles, no trucks, no cars, not even police. Nobody would be around, and I'm over here just freaking forced to just sit my butt down in my Jeep, just waiting for this damn light to change so I can go forward, but it just would not change, you know. And there was this one time where I was actually running a bit late because I had a lot of diarrhea that morning, you know, so I had to kind of rush and leave, you know. It was already, yeah, like, so I'm 5 minutes away from work, freaking, it's 3:58, and I know if I sped just the right speed, I could still clock in at time. Yeah, but the damn traffic lights, damn, let me tell you what, traffic lights are my biggest enemy of all time. Like, freaking, yeah, again, I have other arch enemies, you know. I got cockroaches, I got Pingu, you know, that stupid annoying claymation penguin, but my most archest nemesis of all time are traffic lights. Like, seriously, freaking, they don't like me whatsoever. Like, let me tell you, like, the only freaking times that traffic lights will actually let me, not freaking, like, the only freaking times traffic lights will not stay red for an eternity for me is if I actually need to do something on my phone real quick, you know, and I'm over here waiting for a stoplight, hoping and praying for a stoplight so I can hurry and pull out my phone and text someone or do whatever real quick. But the traffic lights, yeah, the traffic lights are like, no, yeah, you want to be on your phone, you want to text someone before you get there? No, we're not gonna let you. No, we're gonna stay green. And they're like, what? And I'm like, what? And freaking, Yeah, and then I'm like almost forced to actually pull in to a freaking like parking lot of a store, in order to do what I have to do, because like the lights will stay green. But then when I want them to be green, because I'm trying to get to work, I'm just trying to go somewhere. Freaking, they're like, no, you don't need to go on your phone for anything. Oh, you just need to get somewhere because you're running late. Nah, we're gonna be red for an eternity. And I'm like, what? You suckers, And I'm like, like these traffic lights, they're annoying as hell, especially the ones where like they'll skip me. They'll freaking skip me, and they're like, oh yeah, you thought we're gonna let you go? Nah, not on my watch. And I'm like, oh, you little bastards. Freaking, there was a couple of times where I would bring a freaking my BB gun. I'll bring my BB gun with me, and then like freaking I load it up and I cock it, and I'd be like, and I point it at the light and be like, look, listen, if you don't change green right now, I'ma shoot you. And they would turn, and they would get scared because I'd be taunting them so much, and they will turn green. And there was this other time where I needed the opposite, because I really needed to freaking talk to somebody on the phone, or I really need to like do something on my phone real quick. But then like the damn but the damn traffic light wouldn't turn red, So again, I had to do the reverse. Get out my BB gun, I point it at the damn traffic light. Freaking everyone else around me, you're over here thinking that I'm gonna start shooting everybody, but no, I'm just trying to point it at the damn light so it can turn red and do what I wanted to do. Damn, like freaking, you have to threaten these damn things in order for them to work, man. I'm bringing you the straight up facts, no BS. These things freaking hate me. Hell, so one time, so I'm over here, I'm working the early morning shift. So freaking, again, like, and I'm over here and I'm like, I see no cops around. I see no motorcycles, no trucks, no cars, no taxis, no pedestrians, no animals, no nothing. So I am gonna run this damn red light. So I run it, and let me tell you what, man. Freaking, like, these red lights, they like as soon as I run the red light, these damn lights, they literally turn back, because I look at my rear view mirror, and they like the lights that were facing me, they turn back, pointing right back at me, and then like the poles start coming out of the ground, and they start chasing me, and I'm like, what? And freaking, they're like, you're supposed to be stopped. How dare you go? And I was like, oh no! And freaking, I'm over here trying to drive faster, but then like, damn. This is kind of traumatic every time I tell this story. But anyways, freaking, like this damn traffic lights. I mean, they were literally chasing me, and not only that, like, I kept on running red lights, because I was just trying to, like, now I'm not just trying to get to work. I'm trying to run for my freaking life, So freaking, so every freaking light I would run. Freaking, like, they would all start chasing me, and they all started freaking combining together to become this one super traffic light. We're like, if you don't want to stop voluntarily, we're gonna force you to stop. We're gonna destroy your car and break your bones. You are going to stop when we want you to stop. And I'm like, oh God, please help. And then what made it even worse was that a cop actually did see me run a light, but they just completely wanted to ignore the fact that there was a giant freaking mecha traffic light chasing me. No, they just wanted to chase me because I ran a red light, in the dead of night when nobody's freaking driving. So freaking, they're over here, and then I'm over here, I'm trying to drive faster, it's like now the speed limit's 50, but I'm over here going freaking 80, and they're trying to really catch up with me, fool. And then again, they're just paying absolutely no attention to the damn thing that's chasing me. Freaking, it's like if they were working with them, And then come to find out, I look at my rear view mirror, I take a good look, and this cop is actually controlling the damn traffic lights. He has a microphone, he's saying everything that freaking thing is saying, and I'm like, oh god, yeah, this is bad, he's really gonna get me now, freaking, this is terrible, freaking. And this dude, freaking, like, what he does is that he hits a button on his dashboard, and he's like, I need assistance, and then all of a sudden, the car starts, his vehicle and the damn traffic lights, they combine into one, and then the balls turn into wings, and they start flying and trying to get to me, and I'm like, oh god, I don't want to die, so I'm over here, I'm just speeding for my life, and I had to Tokyo drift, just to make that one turn to get into work. And man, like, it was just nuts. It was just absolutely freaking nuts, man. And then, like, I finally get to the store. I park in the car, and I just start Naruto running into the damn building. And this freaking cop decides to freaking bust through the freaking grocery back room door and then continue chasing me, you know. And then in his freaking robotic traffic lights, or they're still trying to chase me down. You know, again, they're just destroying the entirety of the store. They're just trying to freaking arrest me. Again, I swear, me and robots, like, we have a big like feud, man. Like, we have a like again, first with freaking Hot Wheels, now with freaking this whole traffic light system. Again, robots just don't like me, and that's why I don't like robots. But anyways, yeah. Again, they're just destroying the entirety of the store just to try to chase me. But then I clock in, and then all of a sudden they're like, I clock in, and then all of a sudden, like, the car, the lights, everything stopped. And then, like, and then everything calms down just like in a split second. The police officer, like, steps out of her vehicle, and she's like, "Do you know where the bread is?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's down there in aisle 9. And then she's like, "Thank you." And I'm like, "Huh? What?" You know, oh my god, yeah. Like, I was again, I was just so confused. Like, good news is, freaking, I supposedly after clocking in, freaking, like, again, this police officer decides to stop chasing me, and including the traffic lights. But then, like, you literally chased me down, and you caused all this wreck, and then you're just gonna ask me where the bread is. Man, freaking, I hate you, man. I hate y'all. God, like, it was just absolutely ridiculous, man. Like, again, I'm bringing you to straight up facts. I'm bringing you to straight up facts, man. Like, no BS here. No siree. Okay, so anyways, so let's go on to let's move time a bit forward. Okay, so this is when I'm an unloader, man. Like, let me tell you, there's all kinds of stuff going on, man. There's all kinds of stuff going on at the workplace, especially when you're working in the back room. Like, I'm telling you, like, with all like the different kinds of pallets and I've stacked in the back room. Here's the thing. So the issue with the back room is that when we would make pallets, you know, we don't have an unlimited number of them, you know, and a lot of times, like, space can kind of get cramped up in there because sometimes we get thousands of items. Like, I mean, I'm talking at least like 6,000 friggin' boxes coming in, and we only got so many pallets. So, like, one of the solutions we made up is just make the pallets super freaking tall, to where they can just barely make it out the door into the sales floor. You know, that's all we really needed. Man, it's for a lot of the pallets that we made, even with sticking a freaking pallet jack in them, somehow they would defy the laws of physics just so, like, they can actually, like, function. And I'm like, okay, so this box literally is floating in midair. How the hell is that supposed to happen? And then one of my coworkers is like, center of gravity, man. Center of gravity. Just make sure you always have a good center of gravity, and everything will be peachy. And I'm like, but this literally physically doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, don't worry, it'll go back to normal once we go onto the sales floor. So then, like, using this knowledge that just, like, the back room just absolutely has no fricks when it comes to the laws of physics, I start walking on the walls, you know, to try to walk over, and I start setting up pallets and I literally start building pallets upside down on the ceiling. And they're like, what are you doing up there? And I'm like, This place has no regard for the laws of freaking physics and all that. Do you really think I'm just gonna create pallets on the floor there? Hell no, I'm saving space. Freaking, it'll look cool for a while, but then our manager comes in and he's like, "You can't be doing that. Are you crazy? You know what's gonna happen if corporate finds out that we can do this? No, get that pallet down right now." And I'm like, you're boring. You're freaking dumb. You know, freaking, I'm over here just mad as hell. So I have to get my pallet jack. I have to bring the pallet, back down. And at first, I just kind of left it on the wall. And they were like, "No, you can't do that either. You need to look like we're a normal place." And I'm like, fine. Live in your delusion. I don't care. Fine, go, whatever. And then life kind of goes on from there. And so another thing that happened back as an unloader is that. Damn, I probably might have told this story a couple of times, but now I'm really gonna go into it. So there was this one truck again. So I don't know what was going on through distribution centers' minds when they thought about doing this, but they filled this truck up with so much freaking spaghetti sauce. Like, it was nuts. Like, And then on top of that, freaking again. So when we get spaghetti, when we have spaghetti sauce come in, freaking it's always all in these like. They're all in glass jars, and they're all in very fragile freaking containers. You know, like literally it'll be just a bunch of glass jars held together by some plastic. You know, not the most reliable thing in the world. So you would think, yeah, they would carefully stack these, right? Nah, this is distribution center we're talking about. They're a bunch of retards, you know. So freaking, I mean, again, if I got paid $20-some an hour just to fill a truck, and if I wasn't the one unloading it, I probably wouldn't give a damn either. But anyways, you know. So again, so we have, you know, these damn packs of spaghetti sauce, you know, and for some reason they just stacked them in the worst way possible. It literally looked like they freaking just tossed them in there, and they just tossed everything else in there. Like literally, like a lot of these spaghetti sauces, they'll be at the very bottom of like a bunch of heavier boxes. Like I'm talking motor oil, freaking garden patio furniture, freaking radio like radio towers, freaking like tires. Like they'll be under all this heavy stuff, and there'll be I'm over here thinking, what made you think these wouldn't possibly like crack under all that pressure? And then like a lot of these freaking packs of spaghetti sauce were stacked. Like they all just fell over in the truck, you know. And once we opened up that truck, man, it smelled so foul. Like and you can tell this truck was loaded a couple of days ago, not like the day of, or like that morning or whatever. No, it was a couple of days that passed, man. And like it smells so foul. I almost threw up like as soon as you open that sucker. Freaking like it smelled like old spaghetti sauce, and not only that, there was mold all inside the truck. Like it was literally like we dubbed it the living truck, but it wasn't so far-fetched though. Like freaking all that mold was just living in there, and like it was just taking over every single box. Like it looked disgusting in there. Like I never knew mold could be white. Like friggin', it was just so much of it too. Nobody, and I mean absolutely none of us wanted to go in there. None of us wanted to freaking unload it, because they were like, gross. Like we're gonna need freaking the most sanitary gloves and we're gonna need freaking biohazard suits if we're gonna unload this damn thing. Like no, I ain't touching none of this stuff, you know. And it was just disgusting as hell, man. Freaking my supervisor Desmond at the time, he was like, man, what the hell are they doing this, man? This is retarded. I mean, look at that. Damn! There's so much broken glass and mold everywhere, man. This is bullshit, man. You know, and I'm over here like, yep, it's BS indeed, man. It is BS indeed. And friggin', so I'm like, we had to suck it up. And we had to freaking just unload the truck anyways. But here's the thing though, freaking we put in the line in, you know, the line that we use, you know, full of rollers to help us get boxes out. And freaking this truck starts breathing on us, like it exhales, and its breath smells like spaghetti sauce. And I'm like, oh, what the hell? And it's like we step inside the truck, we realize that like freaking it, like, so normally when you step inside a truck, there's supposed to be like freaking wood in there. But there wasn't wood in there this time. No, it felt like a tongue. We looked at it, we saw taste buds, and I'm like, what? And so I look above, you know, and I start seeing it's looking more and more like a mouth. Hell, it's even got tiny teeth growing out, you know, and freaking, and over here, and it starts like growling, and it starts roaring. I'm like, oh god, it literally is a living truck. And I see these like uvulas, like a bunch of these little tentacle like uvulas, you know, just like kind of moving around, you know, and they're waiting to capture. Freaking like there was this mouse that kind of ran in there because a maintenance lady, she found a mouse, you know, all the way in the grocery back room. She was just chasing it, trying to kill it, and the mouse ran into our freaking truck. And then like the one of the tentacles grabbed it. And it started like digesting it right then and there, and like, and let me tell you, that was one of the most traumatic things I've ever seen. I'm like, oh god, this thing is out to kill us. Like $11 an hour ain't worth it. Come on, guys, let's not do it. But then the boss comes in, and he's like, let me tell you this: if you unload the sucker in 2 hours, you'll be making 15 hours. You know, like you'll be making $15 an hour just for the day, and we'll give you 5 hours of PTO each. And I'm like, okay, let's go. You know, freaking, like, I mean, literally, that was just enough to kind of convince us. Although the risk was still not worth the reward. But anyways, freaking, God, like so what would happen was that, yeah, like this damn truck would try to be eating us, and we try to keep it at bay by playing heavy metal just constantly in the freaking truck, just they're trying to make it scared, trying to make it like not want to completely eat us around, you know, trying to create vibrations, you know, not those good vibes, trying to create those bad vibes, so like it doesn't want to even get near us, and like again, with salivating, it getting all over us, you know, getting us wet, with getting all the boxes wet, with the mold being on everything, and freaking like just everything just being all disgusting and smelly. Like, oh my god, like freaking I almost threw up in there a couple times. Like I had to kind of like hold it in. I got swallowed back in. It was disgusting. And man, and freaking like a couple of times, freaking we step on a taste bud, and then it'll be like, the truck would be just like, it would be roaring at us, and I'm like, oh god, you know. And then sometimes it'll get really angry, and it'll really be aggressive with his little in-mouth tentacles. You know, it's really trying to grab us. Hell, like one tentacle grazed my arm, and like freaking my arm started burning. I'm like, oh god, ew, no, still freaking digestive acid, you know. And we opened up the receiving back door, you know, because we need to bring some more pallets in, and a couple of cats ran in, you know, because they smelled the damn spaghetti sauce, you know, and they started running into the truck, and I'm like, no kitties, no, and then the tentacles grabbed them, and they started digesting them in front of us, and I was like, no, they got the kitties, no. Oh man, it was a terrible sight, man. Like it was just like it was crazy. Like I knew by that point we had to unload that truck like as soon as freaking possible. Like, oh my flipping god. So let me tell you, we got that sucker unloaded as quick as possible. We got it unloaded unloaded under 90 minutes because we were just trying to get the hell out of there. Like we literally had 12 guys in there just throwing everything out of the truck because we didn't want to deal with this sucker anymore. And the further we got in, the more and more it started looking like a mouth, and the more and more it started trying to like really get aggressive and eat us. And then by the time we took the last box out, we felt sweet victory. But it's not even worse in there because freaking it turned out one of the guys, or at least the remains of one of the freaking DC people, man, like we just saw a skeleton in there, we saw their work outfit, and then freaking like, and then we saw just a pile of barf right there next to it, and I'm like, oh my god, he smells so bad, freaking like, and it was just terrible, man. It was just terrible in there. I'm like, god, no, ugh, like. I'm starting to throw up now. We're gonna get out of that topic. Anyways, so let's go a little further. Okay, so now let's go a little further into my later unloader days. So we get this. Okay, so again, I have a huge problem when it comes to robots and machines because like they hate me. Like they just straight up hate me. They act retarded around me. They don't want to work around me. So I'm like, oh god, when they announced that they were replacing our old roller line with a freaking basically an automatic line, you know, with a computer that scans boxes, that sends them where they need to go. I'm like, on paper this sounds incredible, but at the same time it sounds like it's gonna mess up a lot. But again, it doesn't, like, again, this is a robot we're talking about. It's not gonna know what it's not gonna be 100% all the time. And I'm over here, I'm just hating robots, man. Freaking damn. So what happens is, so basically the whole concept of this is that, yeah, trucks do take a little bit longer because we have a little bit less people in there. Like I'm talking, we only got like maybe 4 people back there max, you know. But like, but it's okay though because the line will scan the box, and it would send it to where exactly where it needs to go, and we have 2 people on each side of the line. You know, we place them on the pallets, and it's a quick process, you know, and that's, yeah, again, you know, that's kind of the reason why it's called the fast unloader, because it's supposed to help us unload the trucks fast, despite the fact that it made us unload trucks like twice as long. Yeah, it made unloading trucks twice as long as it did with a normal roller line. But anyways, freaking this sucker, like anytime, like any little thing would mess up, like even a piece of, because the damn thing worked off a bunch of sensors, and like if one of the sensors, not I mean it, just one little sensor was blocked by even just a piece of tape, freaking the damn thing would scream at us,
sorter 1 jam, sorter 2 jam, sorter 4 jammed.
and it would not stop saying solder 4 jammed, solder 4 jammed, solder 4 jammed. It would not stop saying that until we finally moved the whatever, the box, the item, whatever that was stuck there. And it wouldn't be really bad if the damn thing worked properly. It didn't always make things stuck. If it just didn't always stop whenever I wanted to. If it didn't just like fail to kind of like roll things to one side or the other because the damn rollers decided to freaking crap out on us. And like this thing would always be freaking jammed. And there was this one day. So we already got through one big old truck. We're unloading a freaking over 4,000 piece truck, you know, and we're already tired as hell. Freaking the back room is all cramped up. We're just trying to get this day over with. And oh my god, freaking this damn line, you know, it says sorter 1 jam, sorter 2 jam, sorter 3 jam, sorter 4 jam, lane 1 full, lane 2 full. Freaking like again, we're just falling behind because again, we're just all tired. We hadn't even eaten lunch yet. We just got done unloading a 3,000 truck. Now we're unloading a 4,000. Everything is full. You know, we're trying to get freaking old pallets out of the way to make room for new pallets, and we're still not allowed to freaking like put pallets on the ceiling or on the walls anymore. So like you can imagine our pain, and even by that point nobody else figured out that we could do that. So I was the only person back there who knew we could actually do that because of the laws of physics don't apply in the damn break room. I mean the back room. But anyways, freaking it was just a big mess back there. It was just it was getting so stressful. Our pallets were as tall as mountains, and freaking every time like one of the guys would come back there, we stacked this we stacked one of the grocery aisles like so tall that like it barely made it out of the freaking door, and they were like, dude, what the hell, man? Like, why is it so tall? It's taller than me. It's taller than LeBron James. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but you know, as you can see, we're kind of having a bad day here. And this damn machine will not shut up. Freaking. So we kicked it and we turned the volume off, you know, and because we're just trying to get things out peacefully. But no, eventually it got to a point to where everything was jammed. Everything was full. And then like literally this damn machine, like despite the fact that we turned off the volume, freaking it started screaming at us like full force, full volume again. It was like, everything jammed, code red. And we're like, uh-oh, what's going on? It started playing its own like a little alarm. It was like everything jammed, code red, destroy all cap 2, freaking like destroy all unloaders. And we're like, oh god. And the damn freaking and this damn fast unloader started morphing into, well, actually before it started morphing into a robot, first it like these little guns, little mini guns started popping out of the sides, and it tried killing us, you know, and it had like freaking, and it had those special kind of like little missiles that would track you, and so freaking so we had to try to dodge those, freaking make them crash into each other. Like literally this thing was trying to kill us because we weren't doing our job fast enough. And then freaking push comes to shove, no, we started throwing boxes back at it. Hell, we even knocked down the 2 miniguns it had. But then freaking it starts like morphing into a giant robot, and it's over here really wanting to kill us. This thing literally is just like in Donkey Kong stance. You know, it just wants to bash our heads in. And then freaking my supervisors at the time, they like Desmond by this point he was gone. But freaking but we had my 2 other supervisors, at the time. Freaking they got, man, like one of them freaking got out like a sword and shield. The other one got out like a boxing glove in one hand, and then like a freaking MP5 in the other, and then they're just like, all right, everybody get behind us. We're gonna destroy this thing. Ha! Yeah, man, like it was an epic battle. I did not think they would win, but they managed to freaking they managed to freaking put that machine down, and then it became submissive to us. Well, actually, the way they did it was like literally this damn thing, despite it being as like intimidating as it was still like just like a baby inside the womb. It was still tethered by like a baby inside the womb is tethered by an umbilical cord. This damn thing was still plugged into the wall. So like literally, well, like one of my supervisors, he had the one with the sword specifically, freaking he had to cut the damn cord, electrocuted himself a bit, but it stopped the machine, and then just the whole thing just fell, and we're all cheering because we finally destroyed the damn mechanical beast. But oh my god, oh my freaking god, man, it was a mess back there. And let me tell you, things were not pretty that day. They were just not pretty at all. But you know what? At least we got the job done, ish, and at least we stopped the machine from killing us, and we may live another day. My God, like. So and now currently I work overnights now, you know, and here's the weird thing about overnights. So it turns out overnight is run by vampires and bears. I mean, it's, again, like, as if the workplace wasn't weird enough. Yeah, like, legit, no lie, I'm bringing you straight up facts. Overnight is run by vampires and bears. Like, literally, we have this one supervisor. She loves to act like she's a manager, you know, by constantly yelling at us, screaming at us. Like, this lady is like over 230 years old, doesn't want to retire, and like, literally, the reason why she works overnights is because she doesn't like being out in the sun. You know, like, again, well, I mean, of course, she's a vampire. None of them like to be out in the sun. Because, I mean, if they go out into the sun, their skin will start to burn. You know? And so this lady, you know, she'll work overnight. And then, like, by the time dawn hits, she's like, I gotta go. You know, she, like, literally, like, freaking, she starts growing bat wings, and she morphs into a bat. And then she flies away. And I'm like, what? But we still got work to do, you know. And I'm like, fine, whatever, you know. We'll try to get this done on our own. But then we got this other manager. She's a freaking bear, like literally a bear. Freaking, like, she's always angry all the time, and like. Like, seriously, like, and actually, like, literally, she told us in a meeting, because she was just so pissed off. She was like, you know what? I wake up in the morning every day, and I just wake up angry. Like, I open my eyes, and I'm already pissed. And I just wake up, and I'm like, I'm angry. So don't take me off today. Don't you dare take me off today. We better get everything done before opening time. You're like, we better get all this stuff done. You know, so I'm like, fine, whatever, bear. Freaking, and so sometimes she'll try to get onto me because, like, again, I'm on a big old aisle by myself, and I'm not finished before freaking first break, you know, 2 hours into our shift, and I'm like, whatever, go away, and I'll throw her a jar of honey, you know, from the freaking pallet. I'll throw her a jar of honey and a freaking fish from the, you know, from the seafood section, and she'll be like, ooh, honey, ooh, a fish. You know, she'll be distracted, and I'm like, the good bear. Now get out of my aisle. Damn. And let me tell you, man, like, vampires and bears, I don't know why of all freaking creatures to run the store at night. I don't know why they chose those two, but I don't know. It just adds some more weirdness to the workplace. But, you know, and I know I have not seen the end of of all, like, the strange and bizarre things I've seen, and I'm gonna continue seeing them because this is the world we live in. But anyways, that's all I pretty much have to say about the facts about the workplace. You know, long story short, this place is weird. The Wonderful World of Wally world is super freaking weird, and yeah, you know, I recommend that you just shop there. Don't work there unless you love living in a really exciting life. But anyways, you know, okay. So if you made it to this far into the podcast, thank you for listening to what I have to say. Thank you for just staying tuned in as I give you all the straight up, no BS facts, FAX. You know, like, because if you want to believe these facts or not, you know, it's up to you. It's your choice. You know, don't let me stop you. But anyways, so, you know, stay tuned for more content later. Alright, so this is your boy Asiago on 3 AM Thoughts, signing off. Have you a good one.